Good evening, and welcome to Creative Broadcasting, the station of unlimited possibilities, presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about me: corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, two-time best-selling author, owner, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, and co-founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. Tonight I have an amazing special VIP guest by the name of author Dr. Essie McKoy. A little bit about her. Dr. McKoy received her doctorate in education and educational specialist degree in educational leadership from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, a master's degree in middle grade education from Appalachian State University, and a bachelor of science degree in special education with a certification in learning disabilities from Winston-Salem State University. She has additional areas of certification in public school administration, principalship, curriculum and instruction with a concentration in English and the North Carolina Superintendency. Her dissertation topic was a study of elementary principles, perceptions of accountability and leadership in an era of high-stakes texting. It's a foundational part of her book, The Heart of School Transformation: My Journey into Transforming Urban Schools. She attended the Urban Superintendent's Program at Howard University and the American Association of School Administrators and received the National Superintendent Certification. In addition, she attended Harvard University's Public Education Leadership Project Program and many other leadership programs throughout the nation, including the Wake Forest University Leadership Program for Public Management, the Distinguished Leadership Program, and the Distinguished Leadership Program Digital Learning at North Carolina State University, the Principal's Executive Program Leadership Program for Assistant Principals at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and received the program's Outstanding Academic Achievement Award, and she graduated from the Principal's Executive Program Leadership Program for new principals at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where she received the prestigious Jack McKoy Award. Dr. McKoy also attending the Master in Leadership Dynamics program with the BB&T Institute, as well as 3 other programs at BB&T. In addition, she was accepted into the National Scholars Honor Society. A highlight of her career is that in 2017, she was selected by Winston-Salem State University as the Education Alumni Achiever recipient. Dr. McKoy began her teaching career at an alternative middle school and later taught at another middle school. She has served as assistant principal at the elementary level before becoming the principal of 2 elementary schools. She worked as an instructor at the Math and Science Academy of Excellence at Winston-Salem State University and worked as an adjunct professor of North Carolina A&T State University and ITT Technical Institute. Furthermore, she served as an executive director and principal. Her experience spans from pre-K through college, and she used her experience and knowledge to continue to make an impact in the field of education. Dr. McKoy was nominated for the AASA Women in School Leadership Award with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In addition, she received the Educator of the Year Award and the Executive Citation of Anne Arundel County, Maryland Award. Dr. McKoy has been featured in Keith Magazine, BSM, and Upwards Magazine. She has received many accolades and recognitions for her accomplishments throughout the span of her career. She is known as a transformational leader and has improved the academic performance and success indicators of all the schools she has led. She is most proud of the fact that both elementary schools become Piedmont Triad signature schools. Her mission is to continue to ignite a passion in others and to make a profound impact in the field of education to help and promise students believe and change the trajectory of their futures. She started her own educational consulting business, Dr. Essie Speaks, travels the nation to do speaking engagements, and published her first book about school transformation in 2018. Currently, she is writing her second book and completed 2 co-authoring book collaboration projects. One is Coaching Champions, and the other one is the Girlfriend Code Sorority Edition. In addition, she is a member of the DMV Mastermind Organization and serves as a faculty member at George Mason University. Furthermore, you will see Dr. McKoy once a month co-hosting about educational topics with Dr. Sharon Porter on the I Am Dr. Sharon show. The segment is entitled Education First. Welcome to the table, the amazing Dr. Essie McKoy.
Thank you, Ashley, so very much, and it is my honor and my privileged to be here, to be a part of your TV show, your radio show. So thank you so very much for having me as your VIP guest this evening.
You are welcome. And Dr. Essie, I am honored and humbled to interview you. You are such an inspiration, and your bio is amazing. So would you please walk us through your entrepreneurship journey?
Well, thank you once again for that notation of just reading my bio and sharing with the listening audience. And
yes,
becoming an entrepreneur, I decided that I wanted to take all of my knowledge and all of my skills and really make a more powerful impact. So I spent, as you know, 30 years in the field of public education and also higher education, and decided that I wanted to do something different. And definitely I'm currently working at George Mason University in higher education, so I never let that go. But indeed, I started my business back in 2018 in the summer after I retired. I was so fortunate to have such great coaches around me, and I must just give a shout-out to Dr. Larry White, Sr., who was my business coach and still is my business coach. Also, Greg Brewer, who is my professional coach, and at the time when I wrote my first book, author Kimberly McLemore being my book coach. So I had a great team around me who helped to elevate me and move me forward. And it has been an amazing journey. The things that I have been doing in terms of speaking engagements and different events, even my journey at George Mason University working on teacher and leadership development, and everything aligns nicely with my business. So I continue to aspire to really impact the field of education and really make a powerful difference. And so my journey started last year, and I'm moving forward with my business.
Well, I must say, amazing, and you've named some very powerful, amazing people that have helped you along the way. So if your journey is pretty amazing, Dr. Essie, I must say congratulations on everything that you have accomplished, and to all the people, Dr. Kimberly McLemore, Dr. Larry White, and all the people that have helped you along the way. So would you please talk to us about your passion for education, because you have a passion for it, and I love it. So would you please talk to us more about that?
Yes, indeed. And it's interesting that you asked that question because I was actually driving back from George Mason University this evening, and I at least attempted to do other things outside the field of education. And I realized, and I was really impacted in a positive way by that today when I went to a session with some of the students, that I can't get away from education. I am born and bred into the field of education. I recall when I was an elementary student, I would just watch my teachers, and I just looked at them and saw how professional they were. So I wanted to go back home and emulate them, and I did. And my journey started from there. That's when it all started. I wanted to be like the teachers that I had in elementary school. And then I had an opportunity to go on and, go to college and get my bachelor's degree in special education, and started working at a middle school. And working at that middle school, it was a school that was highly impacted. So we had a lot of at-promise students in that school. They had been sent to 3 or 4 middle schools and could not make it in the quote-unquote regular middle school. And so therefore, they came to this middle school, and I was a teacher there actually teaching. And I developed a keen sense of their needs and how I could really go back to school and get the credentials in order to make a greater impact. And so I did that. So my passion started early when I was in elementary school, but definitely it was also when I left college and went into a setting that was an at-promise setting, highly impacted setting, and that really sort of started my journey, my passion, developing a more profound passion in the field of education. And the more I do, in terms of, thank God I've been able to acquire 4 degrees and go to many different universities. And I went to a middle school in the DMV the other day, and I was talking to the students and actually read from my book, The Heart of School Transformation. There's one chapter in there, and it talks about my early beginnings. And so I actually shared with them, and I said, I have been very fortunate in that I've been to 12 different colleges or universities. Either I've taught there, I went to a leadership program there, or I received a degree. And so that is something that I really share with students and make it a part of their passion if they so desire to pursue a degree.
I love that. I love that. You are the transformational leader, which leads me into us talking about the transformation of schools, which you wrote your book about. So, Dr. Essie, why should every successful school system why do they need an educational model? Why is that so important?
It is so important because they need to see an example. So I would go into schools that really no one really wanted to go into. They were urban schools, inner city, high crime areas, 100% minority, 100% free and reduced lunch, Title I schools, priority schools, school improvement grant school. I mean, every single acronym that you could possibly give to a school, we had that acronym. And people would say, how is it that you're able to turn these schools around with all these factors that you're facing? And it was because I can only say God gifted me with the skills and the abilities, but also a strong team, creating a strong team to help do that. And 2 of the schools became Piedmont Signature Schools. And the last school that I was at was on its way. There's no doubt about it, because we made such a positive impact and decreased the EBOS index. Educators know about the EBOS index by a minus 4.72. Yes. And so people need to see that it can be done. They need a very good model in place so that you can say you can create success. You just need guidance and direction, and this is how you do it. And even in my book, I talk a little bit about some of the strategies and techniques that educators, no matter what area you're in, pre-K-12, you're in higher education, you have a lot of education programs, people can start early on sharing a lot of this information about how you really go into schools and transform them, and you create success. And therefore, you need models in order to do that.
Amazing. So what are some of the strategies, Dr. Essie, that you could share with listeners in order to, go in and transform those schools for people that are in education, that are looking to get to the next level and become the next Dr. Essie?
Right. And so it's important, I always tell people, know where you're going. Before you really go and try to impact that school. You really have to know a lot about the school, a lot about the community, know about your skill set, know about what you're passionate about in order to make a difference. Some of the things that we did, it was simply amazing. It would probably take me all night to talk about the schools that I went into, because I'm really passionate about the work that we did there. But I can recall one of the schools, we had extracurricular activities for the students in the afternoons, and that was in an elementary school. So you have to put strategies and plans and initiatives in place in order to really get the kids engaged. You look at the discipline program that you have in the school. Usually, and we have to be real, when you go into schools that are at Promise highly impacted, you're going to deal with a lot of the times a lot of discipline classroom management issues. And so you have to look at a comprehensive program that you can put in place. You have to look at parental involvement. You have to look at the curriculum. Are we using those skills and teaching those objectives as they are aligned to the curriculum that is set forth by the state? You have to make sure you have an assessment practice in place so that you can assess what you've taught and then look at areas that you need to go back and reteach. So those are just a few of the things. And once again, I could go on and on. You have to also, this is very important, make sure that the people that are in the building, the educators that are in the classrooms, they are highly skilled and they're competent and they love what they do. They're passionate, because it is hard work. But I say in my book, it is also hard work. And so those are just some of the techniques that I do mention in my book.
I love that. Hard work and hard work. That's the passion of it. I love that. So we know with building these schools, Dr. Essie, it takes a lot of different things and a lot of angles you would have to focus on. So why is, the commitment so important? Why is that? Why do we have to evaluate our commitment, us educators? Why is that so important when transforming?
Right. Right. So you have to be committed to the work, because I go back to that statement that I just made and you reiterated that this work is hard, H-A-R-D work, but it is also heart work. And if you are not committed to the work, you're going to burn out or you're going to get out. Being a school leader in a highly impacted school, you have to be so skilled. You have to deal with so many factors, so many challenges. You have to know a lot about curriculum, instruction, teaching, learning, child development. You have to know how to navigate the grown-ups that are in the building. So it is very important that you are committed to the work. If you're not committed to it, you don't have passion for it, you're not going to make the kind of impact that you need to make. And that's just the bottom line. You can't be there for any other reason when you're going into an at-promise school, a very challenging school. You have to have a sense of, I belong there. I know I'm going to make an impact, and I'm going to work with my colleagues within that building, within that county, and we are going to do what it takes in order to make a difference.
I love it. And so we know we have to have the commitment in order to get to the next level. So from the commitment, we have to evaluate the strategy. And I know you spoke on it a little bit earlier. So what are some of the strategies that you have taken when you went in to go save some of these schools? Pretty much you're transforming them. So what are some of the strategies that you've taken at some of these schools that had, that were probably more challenging than others?
Right. So the one thing that I always say, and this probably will sum up everything that I'm about to say, that is you have to look at whole child, whole educator, whole school approach. No stone is left unturned, meaning that when you look at that child in that school, all the children, all the students in that school, you have to look at their academic needs, of course, their social needs, their psychological needs, their emotional needs, their physiological needs. Everything that you can possibly think of, environmental needs, anything and everything that will impact that child. And guess what? You also have to do that for the educators in that building, because it takes a lot out of educators in order to really be committed and passionate and give back and make a difference the way they really need to in order to impact not only student achievement, but to have kids to aspire and to dream and believe in themselves. That takes a strong person and a strong commitment. And so it's so important that you look at the whole child, whole educator, and whole school, and look at wraparound services. What is it that the community can do in order to help that school to move it forward? And so once again, I go back to paraphrase that whole child, whole educator, whole school approach.
And we know that those things are important as well, but we know that it starts at home. So how can you speak about the parent involvement and how that has influenced the kids as well, Dr. S, because that's important too.
Right. It is important. It is very important. And unfortunately, the schools that I went into, we did not initially have a lot of parental involvement. And I can recall early on, all of the schools that I went into as a principal or executive director, those schools, once again, PTA was almost non-existent, or it didn't even exist at all. There were staff members actually creating a PTA. And so we had to build those relationships, really get parents engaged. It was all about the one-on-one, getting to know them, who they were. I recall the first school that I went into, I had 830 students, and it was about 65 to 70% Latino population. And so I had to make sure that my staff members were comfortable in interacting with, our students and our parents and our families. So you're right. The leader within that building has to create the tone, the environment, build that trust, build those relationships in order to get parents in the door. And then once you get them in the door, you think about, okay, how can this parent serve in order to impact not only their child, but that classroom, that grade level, that school. And then it starts to build, and more parents realize that you're there in order to really not only love their kids, but to make a profound impact and to elevate the school and to really create opportunities for kids and to impact student achievement in a positive way. Parents know they can read you just like the kids can read you. They know when you're there in order to make that kind of impact.
Yes, I love that because that's so important. And you speak about this in your book. So what I want you to do, Dr. Essie, is let the listeners know how they can support and purchase your amazing book so they can learn these awesome strategies so they can get to the next level in education for those that are in education that are listening.
Indeed. So definitely you can go to my website. It is www.dressiespeaks.com, and there is a link directly to my book. Also, you can go on Amazon.com and get a copy of it. Or I will have upcoming book signings and different events, and I'll be there, and you can get an autographed copy of my book. But the most important thing is to make sure, no matter how you go about purchasing the book, to get the book and make sure you read it. It is a very easy read. I know after serving in the field of education for 30 years and being a principal of a highly impacted school and schools, I know that we don't have a lot of time to read. So I tried to make it very practical so that they could implement the strategies, read the book, implement the strategies right away. Trust me, it works. I transformed 2 schools, the lowest performing schools in the district, and they became signature schools with the highest growth, and the middle school was on its way. So it can be done no matter what challenges you face. Get the book, and definitely you will learn all about the strategies that you can implement.
So please get her book. Dr. Essie is amazing. She's definitely an inspiration. So Dr. Essie definitely have wrote her first book. So now we're going to talk about some of the other awesome things that she has going on because she is amazing. So you are working on 2 amazing collaboration projects, Dr. Essie, one with the amazing Dr. Tashika Green, Coach and Champions, and one with myself and Dr. Blaze, the Girlfriend Code, the Sorority Edition. So would you please tell us more about your 2 amazing collaboration projects that you're working on?
Thank you, Ashley, and definitely Dr. Tashika Green, once again, yourself, and Dr. Blaze, you all are phenomenal. I am just blown away by the level of expertise and the collaborative spirit that everyone has in working on these projects. And the particular book that we wrote recently, The Coach and Champion, it's really about the work that I've done and aligning that work, and all of the co-authors involved in that, and the visionary author, Dr. Tashika Green. So we really wrote about how do you go about coaching people? What are some of those golden nuggets? What are some of those effective strategies and techniques? And definitely that will be coming out soon, so be on the lookout on my social media platforms. But I am just so thankful that I had the opportunity to work with all of those co-authors on that project and Dr. Tashika Green. And then the other project is the Girlfriend Code, the Sorority Edition.
Yes.
And that is about my journey into becoming an AKA, so my own personal experience and the benefits of being well connected to other sisters in the organization. And those co-authors, once again, I'm just amazed. It has gone to another level with all the different conferences and things that we have. So I'm very fortunate to be a part of both. So thank you once again.
And thank you for being a part, Dr. Essie. You are definitely a team player, definitely a reciprocal relationships. I just love them, loving the collaboration project that we're in together. So congratulations on all the great things that you have going on.
Well, thank you so much.
So next, you are co-hosting with the phenomenal Dr. Sharon Porter on the I Am Dr. Sharon show, and your segment is called Education First. So would you please tell us more about that, the co-hosting that you're doing with Dr. Sharon?
Yes, so every 4th Sunday of the month, we are in Maryland at the studio. Thank you to Urban Style Media, Karen McConnell and her team, Dr. Sharon Porter. She is, once again, an amazing, phenomenal woman. I am just so blessed to be flanked with all these wonderful people. The show is really like no other. We talk about everything in education, pre-K through 12th grade and beyond. So any educational topic really is, can be talked about on the show. We have current and former school leaders. I'm retired from pre-K 12 public education, but I'm still in education, so I bring that to the table. Of course, I'm always talking about transformational leadership. We have different topics that we do try to read articles about and just keep current with the trends and the different techniques that are out there. So we really use it as a platform to help educators who are in the field practicing and really making an impact. And we have lots of listeners, and if you haven't tuned in, please make sure you go ahead and mark your calendars for every fourth Sunday of the month at 10 o'clock, Urban Style Media. We will be there talking about nothing else but education, and education is first. And we need to make sure that we continue that message and share that with our kids today.
So please tune in to that amazing show every fourth Sunday with the amazing Dr. Essie McKoy. And like I stated, the amazing Dr. Sharon. Those shows are amazing. The whole platform is, and just like you stated, Dr. Essie, to be connected with Dr. Porter is a blessing. So absolutely. So I asked all of my guests this question, Dr. Essie. How did you create your seat at the table? And I know you already bossed the table. So how did you create your seat at the table?
Oh, my goodness. Thank you.
Yes.
Really, it is so important that we operate from our passion, that we operate from what we have done to make an impact, and use that to really heighten the skills, the knowledge base of others. And so I say all that to say you create your own seat at the table based on reflecting on your experience, on your journey, and thinking about how you want to elevate that in order to make a greater impact. And that's exactly what I did. You have to make sure that you're well-studied, you're well-read. You have to put in the work is what I used to tell the kids, and I would tell anybody that you have to make sure that whatever you want to do in life, you pursue it, and pursue it with everything that you have within you. Don't half-step. So if you want a seat at the table and you want to sit in the chair and sit in there comfortably, you have to get the knowledge, you have to gain the skills, you have to make sure that you develop your abilities so that you can continue to elevate your capacity and make an impact.
I love it, love it, love it, love it. So, Dr. Essie, we all have our journey, right? So what did failure teach you?
I think the most important things would be that failure taught me to get back up again and keep moving forward. You need failure in order to become stronger and to make your own journey and to create your own success, to reach those goals that you have in place. And also failure, if you didn't fail, you wouldn't be able to expand your capacity. And so in order for you to continue to grow and expand yourself and your skill set and your knowledge, you must fail so that you can reflect on that failure and figure out what you need to do in order to get back up and go at it again, because you are going to be better once you look at what you did that didn't work.
I love it, to get back up again, because it's a lesson. So what did success teach you, Dr. Essie?
Success taught me to reach back and to give back. Success is what you want to accomplish. No one can create your success, and no one has your definition of success. Only you can hold that definition within you. And so you have to do the work. I talked a little bit earlier about you can't skip any steps. You must do the work and use it as a learning opportunity. So once again, reach back and give back. And that's probably the most important lesson that success taught me. It doesn't, and I recently said this or wrote this, I'm reading, writing, talking all the time, but I recently said that, success is what you make of it. So you create your own goals, whether they're short-term goals or long-term goals, and no one can do that for you. You must do it yourself.
I love that. And you're right. True success is when you're reaching back and pulling forward, right? Because that's what a servant leader, that's a true successful leader. So I love that. Love that. So, Dr. Essie, we know you have overexceeded quarter one. We're in quarter two now. So what can we expect from the amazing Dr. Essie McKoy the rest of 2019?
Well, I can tell you this has been a blessing, an amazing journey that I'm on when I became an entrepreneur. And I really want to make more of an impact. It is just, I know amazing is overused, but I cannot think of anything else to say. The people that I've met, the connections that I've made all across this country, in other countries, definitely I'm going to write more books, more articles, do more speaking engagements, more events, more radio shows, more TV shows, in the studio a lot. I do love what I do at George Mason University. I get to really impact leaders, teacher leaders, and educational leaders. So definitely the sky is the limit, and the horizon looks really bright. And so as long as I continue to just invest in me and really think about making an impact, I'm going to keep moving forward. And once again, making sure that I stay true to who I am as a person and give back everything that has been given to me.
I love that. And I wish you much success in your amazing journey. And you're right, it's all about the impact, right? The impact is what's important. So will you please tell our listening audience how they can follow the amazing Dr. Essie McKoy?
Well, there are many ways that you can follow me. First of all, my website, once again, www.dressiespeaks.com. My IG account, eMcKoy2018, and then EM McKoy. I'm on LinkedIn, Dr. Essie McKoy, and then Facebook, author Dr. Essie McKoy. But if you go to my website, you will see all the links to all of the social media platforms. Once again, make sure you get my book that is currently out, The Heart of School Transformation, My Journey into Transforming Urban Schools, and I'll have 3 to 4 more books coming out this year, so make sure you make purchase.
Is there any other special words that you want to leave with our listeners tonight, Dr. Essie?
I would have to probably say, it probably is more than one word. Okay. Be true to yourself, operate in your lane, and serve with passion. Be dedicated to what you do. And don't listen to the naysayers. Keep moving forward. Yes. You have what you need inside of you to really make the impact that is needed. Your gift is needed in this world. And so just keep moving forward in your gift.
I love it. I love it. So I would like to thank you, author Dr. Essie McKoy, for coming on the show tonight. Taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to come to the table, and I can't wait to invite you back before the end of 2019.
Well, thank you so very much. It is an honor for me to be on your show, and I look forward to being back on your show and continuing to work with you and collaborate with you. So thank you once again.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Essie. So I would like to give a special thanks to Tammy Collins-Marquis and John Schamberger. I would also like to give a special thanks to author Kimberly McLemore, and I would also like to give a special thanks to my intern, Sarah, from Tennessee State University that's interning with me this summer. You all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.